Have you ever given it to an opponent?
I don't know.
I like that one.
Yeah.
17 boards.
That's not the Carl Scott moment of the game for me.
For AD?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it came in a loss.
Well, I'm pretty sure Ryan Trainer said maybe we have once or twice. I'm not sure. I'll have to go look in the 9-year record. We have a 9-year record going. We'll see what happens. James, you ready for a little 360 Anthony Davis assists?
Yeah. AD, he's a multi-talented player. Tonight he had 7 assists. Maybe he learned a little bit from Marc Gasol pulling the trigger, especially at the top of the key. We're going to take a look at a few of his assists in the game. Here's a situation where AD is out at the three-point at the top of the key. Now, he sees the confusion of the defense after LeBron sets this little brush screen. Schroeder recognizes it, backdoor. AD pulls the trigger. Nice assist there. Here he is in mid-post, and right here, he sees the defense coming at him, 2 defenders on him. He may have made eye contact with Kuz because Kuz makes the cut right down the middle. AD finds him, another assist for a high percentage shot. Here's a zone. Golden State went to the zone. What do you want to do in the zone? You want to attack the middle. That's exactly what AD does. He gets right in the middle of the paint, knowing that Trez is low post. As soon as the defender comes up, without hesitation, he finds him down low. Like I said, he's a multi-talented player, recognizing when the defense is focusing on him, he has to get other people involved. 7 assists tonight. If he can keep that going, that's going to add to his, success at that position.
I think I just look at it from the evolution of his game in general, because it wasn't too long after Marc Gasol got here that he picked up on that right away. He said, I want to add that to my game. I want to emulate what he's doing out there from that position. And when you've got him, you've got LeBron, you've got willing passers like Alex Caruso and Dennis Schroeder at times on the floor. The IQ on that end of the floor can be dangerous.
You know what's crazy? LeBron and AD only combined for 36 points. Low for them. All right, let's get you to some highlights. We got James Harden and the Nets hosting the Bucks in a battle of the Eastern Conference powerhouses. Most think these are the 2 teams to beat in the East. Giannis back and forth early. Both teams playing well. Brooklyn up 9. Durant puts the moves on Middleton. Under 2 to play, tied at 119. Drew Holiday, Giannis is there for the follow-up. Greek Freak with 34. Harden can't hit the 3, but Durant. Nets up 2. Final chance from Milwaukee. Middleton can't get it to go. Harden and Durant combine for 64 points. Nets win a thriller, 125-123. Lakers will be playing the Bucks on Thursday night. Both these teams are probably the 2 teams that everyone thinks will be there at the end for the East, trying to get a shot at whoever comes out of the West. What do you like so far with James Harden on the Nets? We haven't seen Kyrie yet.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, that team's going to be tough.
It's going to be fun to watch. And, Steve Nash's biggest challenge is how does he make that work? I mean, you got 3 offensive powerhouses. How's the defense going to work? How are the role players going to fit in there? It's still yet to be seen, but what we have seen thus far without Irving,
they're
just Harden and KD alone, man, that's 60 to 70 points a game, potentially. It's going to be nice to watch and challenging to defend. I'm glad I don't have to defend those guys right now.
I think the one thing we've all talked about along with that question, but we've all also talked about, is how elite of a scorer James Harden has been, that his assists, his ability to facilitate gets overlooked. And when you watch the Brooklyn Nets, these first 2 games with him in there, his willingness to give up the rock is there. And at the end of the day, I mean, you're thinking about it, and of the 3 of them, he's the only one who has yet to win. And he's gotten to this point. He's got the scoring titles. He's got the MVP. One of the big reasons why it was said that he wanted out of Houston was to win. So will he ultimately make that sacrifice that is needed? And right now, dishing the rock and being that guy is what he's playing up to.
Lakers went 1-1 against the Bucks last year, lost in Milwaukee. Beat them right before lockdown in March at Staples Center. Drew Holiday, great addition for that Bucks team. Giannis, still, we'll see what happens in the playoffs. He has to become that guy that can have the ball in his hands in the 4th quarter. So we'll see. All right, more to come on Access. Dennis Schroeder.
Kevin Durant, James Harden, pair scoring or assisting on 208 of the Nets' 247 points in the 2 games they've played together. Both of those W's. According to Elias, they are the first teammates ever to each score 30 or more points in each of their first 2 games together with a franchise. So far, the thing's working. We'll see what happens when they throw some Kyrie Irving into that mix as well. Tim Legler is a basketball talent. He sees the whole floor, so he's here with us on SportsCenter to talk about what he saw in the Nets win over the Bucks. And Timmy, after 2 games with James Harden, offense meshes nice. How is it that it meshes so nice with this team?
Yeah, well, first, it's seamless with Harden and Durant because Durant scores so easily and efficiently. He doesn't really get his flow interrupted by James Harden. So now you've got 2 of the best offensive players in NBA history. And Harden, his ability to control the basketball and draw multiple guys to him and his passing ability out of that, John, is really just going to make this team almost unguardable at times. And we'll take a look at some examples from this one. You know, the way that he can get defenses to overcommit to him is special. And this is a perfect example. 2 guards, that should just be a switch on that ball screen, but because it's Harden, you get 2 guys miscommunicate. They linger a little bit longer than they normally would. Joe Harris just runs to an open spot for an easy shot. Here in transition, 4 white shirts, all eyes on Harden, flow to that side of the floor, and you forget about a guy like Kevin Durant. Easiest basket he's going to get maybe all season, and then he wins one-on-one matchups. This is Drew Holiday, one of the best defensive guards in the league. Can't keep him in front. He gets to the backline defender, Bobby Portis, and now it's an easy dunk for DeAndre Jordan. Just his ability to be able to control possessions. It's unlike any other player in the league. Now in Houston, it was really him every trip. And then you put 4 3-point shooters around him. This is a little bit different now because he draws guys, and when that ball gets swung and now it ends up in the hands of Kevin Durant against a rotating defense or guys closing out and their space, forget it. It's impossible to stop them. So I'm just really impressed 2 games in to how easily these 2 guys have meshed together, and the impact of James Harden is undeniable. The guy's just simply one of the best offensive players at creating offense this league has ever seen, and Brooklyn's now seen it for their first 2 games with him.
All right, I've been reviewing the rules. You got KD and you have Harden. You add Kyrie, that's 3. You get 5. I think this is the Joe Harris question, right? How do you fit in the new look Nets rotation if you're not one of those big 3?
I texted a buddy tonight, how much would I like to be Joe Harris right now? The guy's not going to take a contested shot all season. It's amazing to be him and living in that world because he's got one of the best strokes in the league already, and now he's in a situation where there's just not enough defenders to find him. If he just stays active, he's going to get all the looks he wants. DeAndre Jordan is a perfect fit at center also with his ability to screen and dive, and even like a guy like Jeff Green, who can play some power forward for you defensively and take some of the pressure off of KD, but then can step out and space the floor with his 3-point shooting. So I think they've got perfect complementary parts around these 2 guys. Here's the problem. It's not just these 2 guys. You're going to be incorporating Kyrie Irving into the mix, John, and I just don't know, watching that game tonight, how that is possible to incorporate a guy that dribbles the ball that much, that's that dribble dominant. And now you're going to start to affect this flow that I'm talking about that they've had for 2 games, because I think the pieces that they have around these 2 stars are perfect to the point where you could say, I see that team getting to the finals, maybe even winning a championship. When you add Kyrie to the mix, I think it becomes a little bit more muddled. It remains to be seen, but right now it's hard to imagine.
You had us all, and then you had to end on a downer, Tim Legler. All right, very good. We appreciate it, man. Listen, if Joe Harris is going to shoot 60% from 3, you'd shoot 80 on that team. They're sitting on 84% of the Nets' points in their first 2 games together in Brooklyn. 208 out of 247, both victories, and they've picked it up in the 4th quarter in both wins. The pair has scored or assisted on 61 of the Nets' 69 fourth-quarter points. As you'd expect, Steve Nash, good coaching, get it to your best players. Harden now in his 2nd partnership go-around with KD.
We were young in Oklahoma City. You know, we're grown men now. You know, we know what we want. We really know the game of basketball now. You know, we're not those young guys that just run around and want to just shoot and dunk all day. We know the games, we know spots, we know, teams, players. We're more advanced. And then for me, as I sit back, I know what type of player Kevin Durant is. He's one of the best players that ever touched a basketball. As God-given, 7 foot, can basically do everything. So for me, it's not trying to compete with that. It's allowing Kevin to be the best Kevin he can be. And I'm going to make sure that I can make him better and then make my teammates better. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I feel as though we're, like you said, we've been in the league for James' 12th years, James' 12th year, my 14th season. So we pretty much seen every defense, every offensive scheme. We done been in every type of game, playoffs, game sevens, So we done been through a lot in this league, experienced a lot, and for us to bring it together now and combine what we've learned over this time and try to play great basketball, I think it was pretty seamless for us. It was an easy transition, especially with James, handling the ball a lot coming in. So we still trying to, find our way, and we still got room to improve. But it's a solid start.
You're that old. We'll go by the numbers.
Shut up, Beavis.
Harden and Durant combined for 138 points in their first 2 games there with the Nets. Second most by any 2 teammates in their first 2 games, behind only Wilt Chamberlain and York Lloris, who had 151 in 1961 for the Warriors. The thing is, Wilt had 139. Other dude had 12. Harden becomes the first player ever to get at least 30 points, 10 assists in his first 2 games with a new team, averaging 33 points, 13 assists in his first 2 games with Brooklyn. As you said, no turnovers in the second half after going 9 in the first game and 6 in the first half here. Harden has scored or assisted on 129 points in his first 2 games with the Nets. According to Elias, that's the most